Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to our live stream today. Unedited, raw, no editing, no special effects, no censoring, just the exposed truth regarding whatever program there is out there, just like the rest of our videos on our YouTube channel. And folks, you guessed it, we're talking about what's happening in one of the most popular programs in North America. You guessed it, the startup visa and the intra-company transfer for Canada. As you know, we cover a lot of different programs around the world. The ugly, the good side, whatever it is, we don't hold back. And in today's session, we're covering Canada in terms of the latest changes in startup visa, intra-company transfer, what you need to know, but not just all that fluffy stuff you can find on any YouTube channel. We're going to talk to you about what changes are in the pipeline that we and a lot of designated organizations are expecting. Doesn't mean that'll happen, but you should know because that way you can plan better. Here we go, folks. We'll do a quick introduction of who I am and, of course, our organization, and then we'll dive deep into the Canadian startup visa and intra-company transfer. But during this session, if you're connecting to our live stream to talk about the Caribbean Island Citizenship Program, because that's our next week's live session, or maybe the EB5 US program, how to protect your investment into that program, or perhaps the Panama Golden Visa, or maybe Bulgaria or Cyprus, who knows, or maybe New Zealand. You can ask those questions at the end of our presentation. Well, my name is Reza. If you didn't know, I'm the founder and CEO of Ingwe Immigration, your gateway to second, third, or even fourth residency and citizenship anywhere in the world, no matter which country you want to go to, no matter which country you're from. And that's a bold statement, folks, because if you're from countries which are not aligned politically with the West, you know there's restrictions on you sometimes. But we have a whole portfolio of countries that will welcome you with open arms, no matter which country you're from. And that is a promise nobody can hold. We're thrilled this year regarding our expansion of more countries and services to open up the world for investors, serious professionals, and business owners seeking either residencies or direct citizenships without residencies, or residencies that lead to citizenship. No matter what combination you're looking for, it's there. At Ingwe, our firm, we have successfully helped hundreds and thousands of clients from over 55 different countries through the most complex business investment migration programs across the world. Now we're bringing the same expertise to you for all the best offerings in the market, and we've handpicked them. Oh, you can trust me on that. We don't offer you 100 programs. We offer you the best 10 out of the 100. Panama, affordable tax-free business lifestyle. Dubai, fast, easy, bling lifestyle. Portugal, for one of the most popular European residencies and flexible citizenship residency programs. Plus, did you know there's 4 different options under the Golden Visa in Portugal? Plus, there's the other programs like the Digital Nomad Visa, the Passive Income, and the Startup. Malta, the only EU country selling its citizenship in the EU with no residency requirements. And the Caribbean Islands, which we'll cover next week in our second part series, Antigua, Barbados, St. Kitts, Nevis, St. Lucia, Dominica, and Grenada, which are just mail order passports for you. Click a button and that passport comes to you. New Zealand, for the sophisticated investor who wants a back pocket insurance plan just in case for the future. Greece, which is one of the most popular programs, real estate investment program, and Bulgaria and Cyprus. Those are the undervalued programs that nobody really has promoted as much. Whether you're seeking fast-track residency, looking to invest in real estate, aiming to retire comfortably, enhance your quality of life, or perhaps even acquire direct citizenship for yourself and or for your future generations. We offer a diverse range of products and countries so you can pick. We provide more than just visa assistance. We're committed to supporting you from our origin location to the final destination that you want to go, helping you navigate all the government procedures, which are slow and ugly, cultural and language barriers, and to support your portfolio diversification to relocate or not to relocate and obtain that residency. for you, your children, your business, and so on. And sometimes this could be even your second, third, or fourth citizenship. Who knows, right? Our commitment remains stronger than ever, helping you with those customized solutions. And our global partnerships and multilingual team, our team speaks over 10 languages, help you out no matter which country you're from. We've helped people from over 55 countries. So let's jump into the startup visa. Okay, folks, you're here. You want to hear about what's happening in startup visa and ICT. Let's start with the intra-company transfer. Well, you're not eligible. Bam. That's what's happened. So the previous Thursday, what's happened? Well, 2 Thursdays ago, the government updated the intercompany transfer LMI exempt. They've removed some of the LMI exempt codes and declared or announced that unless you're a multinational corporation, you are not eligible for an intercompany transfer application to come with that work permit to set up that business or to transfer your key staff or management or executives to Canada. What is a multinational corporation? You need 2 operating active business operation entities, one in your home country and one in another country besides Canada. If you don't have that, you're not eligible. Okay? So just having a shell company, a dormant company, no, it's got to be active. So that's got to be a real entity outside of your home country where that's operating, you're operating, at least 2, right? And then you could be eligible. Then they've removed virtual office eligibility. So if you're coming in under intercompany transfer and if you don't have an actual physical office ready to sign or already put a deposit, boom, you're not eligible, right? You do need a physical location. These are the key things that have changed the eligibility. They're going to scrutinize for renewals now. So if you're renewing your intercompany transfer from inside Canada, they want to see all the tax forms, all the tax filings, your physical work location. These are all the requirements now that you do need to meet, even if you're inside already and you're renewing. Okay? So basically, you will not be able to use intercompany transfer, and that will eliminate 90% of all the applicants who have had in the past or are planning to apply under the intercompany transfer to Canada. It is a work permit only program. Remember, folks, like an E2 or like an L1 or an L2 in the US, perhaps. So that's what's happened on the Canadian side. On the startup visa, you know, the open work permit has been announced. And that's a key change, that SUV applicants who are essential members can now apply for open work permits. Previously, it was closed, meaning you can only work for your startup. I previously announced this in my previous video that I never thought they would actually implement that policy. And you know, if you've been following our videos and talking about, you'll know that I've always called out on the government that it was a typing mistake. There is no open work permit, right? And here they are with an open work permit. Ooh, wow. That was a shocker for everyone, designated organizations, stakeholders, agencies, business consultants, and clients. Why did they do that? I don't know. After a year and 4 months, after they announced it. So 16 months after they announced it, they implemented it. Whoa, what's going on, folks? Did it get lost in the mail? Why did they implement it when they're cracking down on a lot of the rules and regulations now? And if you know anything about Canadian immigration, you know they are tightening up everything from skilled immigration to education to even some of the other basic programs, right? But anyways, it is now eligible to apply for an open work permit. If you've already applied for closed, you cannot change it. Only during renewal, you could potentially obtain an open work permit. So therefore, they're going to give you an open work permit under the federal startup visa business program if you're an essential member. Now, here's some interesting news. They've sent a survey to the designated organizations in the I think end of August that was supposed to be submitted by everyone by 20th September. Designated organizations, meaning under the startup visa program, the incubators, venture capital, and angel investors were designated to sponsor startup clients and groups. These are the questions they've asked. Should we maintain essential and non-essential members? Like, should we still keep that structure for startup visa? They've asked, should job creation be mandatory under startup visa program? These are things they've asked. Should there be any eligibility criteria for PR applicants under startup visa, like be proving that they are a subject matter expert in the field? These are things that the IRCC has asked it as an organization. And from historical times, we understand that previously, whenever they send a survey and the feedback comes from the designated organizations, they implement some changes. Now, we don't know if these changes that were made 2 weeks ago regarding open work permit are those changes, or are there more coming? And our theory is this, and it's a theory. If you don't like it, that's fine. This is just a theory, man. Don't take it so seriously. Have a coffee, okay? They've opened up the open work permit. What will this do? It will make the program more attractive. That's what the Canadian government doesn't want. They don't want you to apply for a startup visa. They don't want more applicants under the startup visa program. The only federal direct PR business program in all of Canada, okay, that has no geographical restrictions except planning to settle in Quebec, which you're not allowed to, but the rest of Canada is fine. They don't want that. So if they've opened up the open work permit Pandora's box, which is going to make this program even more attractive to overseas investors, entrepreneurs, and founders, right? Then what are they planning to do? So the risk is that over the next 30, 60, 90 days, we don't know when, they may change the eligibility of the PR for the startup visa, meaning they could change it to, hey, you need to be a subject matter expert in your field, right? Like if you are applying and your startup is based on a SaaS in, I don't know, who knows, a marketplace SaaS, those are quite common, you know who you are, right? Do you have expertise in that or no? Because if you don't, you're not eligible, right? A little bit difficult to prove, but still could be. Job creation. So it doesn't mean you won't be eligible, but it means you got to invest more. Minimum salary for somebody in Canada can range anywhere from $20,000 to $28,000 per year, depending on the province. Okay. Plus, keep in mind, minimum wage, you can only hire a student with no experience. So probably you need to hire somebody more mid-level. So you're looking at $45,000 to $47,000 at least over the year in terms of hiring somebody, right? Is it per applicant they have to do job creation, or one startup with 5 investors does one job creation? We don't know. So what will that affect? That may affect the pricing in the market on startup visa, for sure, and your investment, right? So the job creation, the eligibility of the PR being a subject matter expert, will they change the education? I don't think so, because most of the most successful startup entrepreneurs in the world were dropouts, right? I mean, if they add education, I'll give them the Nobel Peace Prize for having the worst designed program in the world. And then the last point is essential or non-essential. Will they remove that? I think they should. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of decision-making power in our brains in terms of the Canadian Startup Visa Program. Having essential or non-essential, what does that even mean? Who came up with that? I mean, that's like having a family, right? You got a family of husband, wife, and you got the kids, and then you're like, who's essential, who's non-essential? What does that, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. So a lot of people have one essential and multiple non-essential. Sometimes they're all essential, because the essentials can apply for the work permit, right? So now that they've released the open work permit essential policy, can we assume that they will continue with the essential non? Maybe they will, but most designated organizations probably in the survey feedback said, you know what, this whole essential non-essential designation on the letter of support of the co-founders for the startup visa program in Canada is a waste of time and effort, and it's irrelevant. Anyways, folks, that's what we're talking about today. That's the update. Potentially, they can make these changes. They've changed the open work permit back in April. They changed priority to non-priority. They capped every designated organization at 10 groups per year, maximum of 5 members per group times 10, 50 startup groups can be sponsored per year by each designated organization. Now, the priority and non-priority, we are seeing 3 to 4 months priority groups receiving a confirmation of acknowledgement, like an acknowledgement of their documentation for the PR. So in 3 to 4 months, some of the groups under priority process are receiving a PR file number, a permanent number, which means within 12 to 15 months, potentially they could have a decision on their PR. This is huge. If you go on the Canadian immigration website, you'll see that it says what, 39, 40 months? I don't even check because it's ridiculous and it's completely out of whack, right? But it's not. If you go non-priority, I wouldn't be surprised. There are groups waiting 2.5, 3 years or more now. But if you go priority now, since the April 2024 change, you're going to be truly fast-tracked. And I'm truly surprised by the Canadian government actually committing to that priority processing, which is amazing. And I think it was by mistake because the Canadian government doesn't do anything amazing these days, right? And I think you all agree. Do a thumbs up or something if you all agree that the Canadian government is definitely not doing anything amazing at this point. Anyways, folks, thanks for connecting. We're going to go through the questions and answers that we have right now. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to go through our audience members' questions. It's a live stream, so they're posting. Now I'm going to give them feedback and answers. If you think you want to apply for second, third, fourth residency or citizenship, well, you can connect with us. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel for videos, regular updates, live streams, Q&A sessions on all the programs, not just Canada. We're talking about Europe, Caribbean islands. We're talking about New Zealand. We're licensed in 3 jurisdictions, folks. We're insured up to $1 million. Okay, this is way different. We're in a different league. Okay, where we customize the immigration program for you, you will understand the process, the payment milestones, and we have a very strong portfolio of programs that are proven with true track records. Our commitment to you is transparency, choice, and security. And of course, we have a client trust account with our banks, which protects you and us. And we have a multilingual team which speaks 10 languages. And we've helped people from over 55 different countries. And if you're ready to take the next step, click the link below to contact us. And of course, you can always book a one-on-one consultation with us or one of my team members using the link in the description of this video. And remember, tune in every Thursday for our YouTube live stream where we present, we engage with the audience, we answer your question. And right now, you're probably cursing me and like, hey, Reza, we've posted a question for 30 minutes. Why are you not answering? Here I am answering you right now. And Rosita says, hi, Reza, good luck. Thank you, Rosita. Safa, hi, Reza, we missed you for the last 2 weeks. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Safa, nice to see you, man. You're at the top of my list, I'm telling you. Ash, what is the processing time for the new SUV open work permit? Oh, nobody knows, Ash. Open work permits? Nobody's even received an open work permit yet. So the processing time, I don't believe it will change at this point. It's still the same no matter which. It depends on the embassy that you're applying for, right? And everyone knows the SUV work permit program is a little bit here and there, Hi, Tim. How are you? You is really attractive. Your glasses are really attractive, and you're glowing as usual. Please, I want to continue on my future applications with your success. So I need your support and special discount. Hi, Tim. You're coming on YouTube Live and asking for a discount. Naughty. Very bad, boy. It's a tough one, hi, Tim. Some of our staff are off right now. We're really trying to balance all the clients and all the applications on time. It depends on the timeline, how quickly you want to apply for what. Let me talk to my office. There's not a lot of room we have, Haitam, I'm telling you. But I appreciate you connecting on our YouTube Live. Safa says, one of our founders recently had a newborn while RCC requested a medical test. My question is, what is the process for registering the newborn and how do we inform RCC about this? Oh, great question, Safa. I've had this question asked many times and I've actually handled cases like that. It's very simple. I think ChatGPT can also answer it properly and correctly. You just have to update the family information form, fill out a new what is it, IMN 0008 PR application for your for the newborn child. Include the birth certificate showing the biological parents. This is the generic response, and then submitting it to IRCC and informing them that there's an additional family member. And it's something that always happens because the IRCC's processing times are so slow. People can have up to 10 children by the time they receive a PR, no kidding. So the key is you just send the web form or that link that's directly linked to your officer or whoever is processing. If it's an embassy that sent you a confirmation of PR, you can also inform them as well. So again, the generic PR application form for the newborn child, you have to update the family information and any other forms that have indication of your family members, i.e. dependents, birth certificate showing, hopefully it's translated, and passport as well. So you need a passport for the newborn child. So, and then you inform IRCC. So it may delay the PR process a bit here and there, but at the end of the day, they will issue it. They've done it for other clients as well. Saurabh Malhotra, having the acknowledgement of receipt is mandatory for applying for open work permit. Yes. So folks, this is a great question. Saurabh, thank you for bringing that to our attention. In the new change that happened with the Saurabh visa, unless you have an acknowledgement of receipt for your PR application for all the co-founders, no one single co-founder can actually apply for a work permit, whether it's open or whatnot, right? So it means, all of the applicants have to apply. So if one applies, four don't, or four apply, one doesn't, and then four get an acknowledgement of receipt, they still cannot apply for a work permit because all of the group has to. Plus, you need to receive an acknowledgement of receipt. And here is the key, folks. If you're not working on a priority designated organization, a priority incubator, venture, or angel investor, you may receive a very late acknowledgement of receipt, which means your letter of support may expire. Now, we're waiting for clarification from IRCC on this. That will they remove the validity on the letter of support? Will there be a need, or will the acknowledgement of receipt of the PR application submitted be processed within 2 to 3 months? Because right now we're seeing that 4-month to 6-month timeline to receive the acknowledgement of receipt for priority designated organizations. What will happen with non-priority? We don't know. What will happen if you submit, you want to do a work permit, but your letter of support expires till you get an acknowledgement receipt? There are more questions than answers right now out there for the IRCC, and we expect over the next 45 days for them to come and clarify this to the designated organization and hopefully to the public. Okay, great question, Saurabh. Haitam, you retracted a message. Safa, I missed the question here, folks. There's a lot of questions. The open work permit for the startup visa program to Canada is a problem. The founders of a business idea should be focused on driving the economy, not searching for jobs, right? Yes, Safa. In one of my original videos back in, I think, June, July 2023, after the previous Minister of Immigration Canada announced this, I called it out as a honey trap, right? Like, oh, you got a great job at Microsoft, and then you got this startup sitting on the side. Are they going to give you a PR? So it's a double-edged sword. You got to be very careful where you do contribute to the startup and you show proof of what you're doing. Oh yeah, and I have a side gig, and I'm making, as a software developer, I'm making $80,000 or $100,000 a year. By the way, right? It's a full-time job, 9 to 5. So here's the trick. They may not know that you're doing a 9 to 5 job. That's the thing. They don't necessarily know how many hours you're working there, right? Unless you show them proof of that. So if you say, okay, this is my current employment, but I'm also the CEO or CIO of this startup, you can try to balance it up. But you need proof. And like you said, Safa, it is dangerous. It's like playing with fire. If you don't know how to turn on that match and play with it safely, you can burn down the house. No pun intended there. AMKH, hello, my wife and I are listed as the only members of an SUV program on the commitment certificate issued by the designated organization 2 years ago. I applied for a PR under the Federal Canadian Startup Visa Program as the main applicant with my wife and children as dependents. And my wife also submitted her own PR as the main applicant with me. AMKIH, I remember your case, by the way. I think you asked this before, and I told you that you can't do that. As her dependents, we received 2 separate file numbers a year ago, and our applications are being processed separately. Oof. I think I gave you advice on this, AMKH. You cannot do that. Could this create confusion? Of course it can. You're literally going at full speed at a dead end, like a wall. Okay. Would it be a good idea to withdraw my wife's application and proceed with mine, considering I'm the essential member of God? You know what I was thinking, AMKH, and like obviously it's not your fault. You didn't get proper advice. How did the incubator or designated organizer even accept to put a husband and wife on the commitment certificate as 2 separate founders? Did they know you're married? Because if they knew and they did that, I'm sorry, but they're completely clueless. Because that is like the big no-no. That's like learning the ABCs. Like that's like kindergarten SUV. That's the first thing you learn. You cannot have a family member, like a dependent of a key applicant, also apply for PR in the same group or even under any other program. So they will withdraw one of your PR applications when they find out. Okay, but the key is you're both essential. That's what I'm assuming, right, AMK? So just let me know if you're both essential on the letter of support, because that's going to be an interesting case study. Like, oh, we're withdrawing, and then an essential member withdrawing will automatically by default refuse the whole group. So please let me know and we can continue the discussion. Samir Nath. How are you, Samir? If the letter of support for the Startup Visa Program Canada has expired and the essential had already applied for closed work permit, can they still open for the new open work permit once they get the AOR in a few months? If they get a closed work permit, no, you cannot change the application, unfortunately, and they've clarified this already, Samir, that if you already have the application process, that's going to be processed as closed. Saurabh Malhotra, any of your discussed theoretically amends will affect only the new application, or will change the PR criteria for the SUV app already in the pipeline? Oh, Saurabh, you are shooting some great questions today. I love it. Exactly what I was thinking. It applies to new applicants, not existing. However, you got to be careful. Let's say job creation is now mandatory. What it'll do psychologically to the officer is it will affect the way they process existing applications too, besides the new applicants who the new rules are applying to. So what I'm worried about is if it's not just eligibility of the applicants, but it's actually job creation, that can affect the officer's way of thinking on existing applications they will process in a few months, although the changes were done before you applied. But in terms of PR eligibility, like basic education, work experience, other criteria, language, proof of language, if they ever change it, no, it only applies to new applicants who have not yet applied for PR. Letter of support is a different matter. Samir Nath, do so-called K9 units in RCC review the actual app or digital product created by the SUV team? Mainly not. You just need to show proof. But once in a while, you'll get a rogue officer who maybe is bored and they'll try to see if something works. Right now, I don't feel that they go into very, very, very deep, because they're trying to process and meet the deadline or quota for 2024. So I feel like they're just trying to catch up and just like pick and choose and pick on people who can't respond properly to the questions and don't have proof that they've actually developed a product, solution, whatever it is, as part of their startup. So they will check it out, review. I don't know how much of a deep dive they have time to do. Okay, and it's not their expertise. Are they a software engineer? No. If it was, this officer would be working in the IT industry, right? They're a basic government officer, right? They drink their Tim Hortons coffee. They come to work. They see a bunch of files of names of people from Africa, Asia, China, Iran, Middle East, India, South America, Europe, and they're like, Why are these people coming to Canada? And then they're going to make a decision on your file. They don't have the technical background. Okay. They used to have peer review, which they removed back in April, or was it later than April? I don't remember. But the point is, they have no clue. You just have to show some nice stuff to them and then convince them. That's from my understanding. Max Phillip, do you know what designated organizations responded on whether there should be eligibility changes? And do you think will IRCC make eligible? Most designated organizations would have not accepted eligibility changes, Max. Right? Most designated organizations want to keep the program as it is. If anything, expand it further, increase the numbers. Most of them. I'm not saying all, but I would say 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 would want to keep it as it is. Right? And I know a lot of them said job creation is ridiculous because in the startup world, you're trying to be you're trying to disturb the existing industry model, and it's not about job creation, it's about innovation. So if anything, jobs can actually destroy, startups can destroy jobs and create new jobs, but job creation is not something that the best incubators or accelerators in the world even have as criteria. Are you creating jobs? It's completely contradictory to the startup ecosystem and the concept of a startup being innovative. So these are things that the desert organization definitely didn't accept. But the essential, non-essential question they asked, yeah, I mean, nobody even knows why they came up with that 10 years ago, essential, non-essential. Like, it's ridiculous, and I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 said, hey, just get rid of it. It's annoying. Hitem, if you apply for PR in October 2020, when we should expect our application number? Hitem, we don't know yet for the non-priority designated organizations for previous applicants. So we do have clients that are waiting for 2.5 years or more right now. But we have clients who applied in March this year, and they're under review for PR, and I'm pretty sure they'll have a decision by December. And those are priority designated organizations. So you got to keep that in mind. Samir Nath, if we pull back the closed work permit application for the essentials and reapply for the new open, doesn't that restart the clock on work permit processing times? Yeah, of course. If you do that, 100%, that resets everything, right? So I'm just trying to go question by question, folks. Lots of questions in our YouTube audience here. So Samir, good question. AMKH, in your experience, what is the average process time for PR background check for nationalities with the lowest TRV approval rates? Ooh, that's a very interesting question. The way you phrased it sounds almost like ChatGPT. I need an algorithm in here to answer that. No, I mean, it depends on the country specifically, AMKH, right? Places like China, security checks are taking a long time, background checks. Iran, places which don't have perfect relations with Canada at the moment, right? And if you've traveled to high security regions frequently in your passport, that can also trigger more security checks. So it's too general. The question is too general, but generally, like, obviously, with a lot of countries, it can take longer than others. So if you're from, Mexico or Europe or Japan, it's fast. If you're from some other countries, it's, average. Like from India, it's not bad. From China, I know it's slow. Sometimes from Iran, it's slow. And a lot of the other countries, which may be, I don't know, if you're in the axis of evil, it could be slow. Excuse my French there. So Max Phillips says, if conservatives, so the opposition party in Canada, who's, and we have elections coming up next year around this time, if they win, do you think they implement something like permanent residency by investment? Max, I'm a strong believer of that. I love the question, but not immediately. Immigration is not on their priority list. It's way down. When you guys, like, everyone has a task list and you've got like 10, 20 things you got to do. And then there's that last item that will always be recycled onto your next list because it's not so urgent. That's immigration for the conservatives. If anything, they're going to cut down on the staffing, the resources, and the expenditures of IRCC, which will slow down all those processing times of whatever it is, right? But I think in a few years they will come up with an investment, federal investment to PR program. Because if they don't do that, they are idiots. Okay. And I don't care who comes into power. Because all these programs that they have and don't have, or closed or paused or changed, they're a waste of time and money for the entire country. You need direct investment, and here's my political stance: direct investment which will help Canadians become eligible for home ownership or senior caregiving homes. Okay, that's key. Why are they coming up with this bogus entrepreneur provincial programs and startup visa, which don't really benefit the Canadian government? I know it, you know it, right? Bringing in somebody from overseas who's never stepped foot in Canada, who's never owned a business in Canada, who's never done a dollar transaction in the Canadian economy, and then expecting them to do job creation and start something. We're bringing accountants and converting them to Uber drivers. We're bringing in HR corporate managers, converting them to coffee shop owners. It is so backward, it's not even funny. But if they had a direct investment program where people would invest into a federally managed fund, let's say into the CMHC, Canadian Mortgage Housing Corporation of Canada, right? And it would reduce, and that fund would be helped to reduce the eligibility and promote home ownership. In certain provinces, they actually have a subsidization program for home ownership where there's certain investment coming in and it subsidizes for the Canadian homeowner, or creating more senior care living organizations and facilities, because the aging population, the cost of sending your loved ones for senior care in Canada, there's so many things that they could use the money for properly, but they don't. They're fooling themselves, they're shooting themselves in the foot, and they have no idea what direct benefit to the Canadian economy really means, and not to waste the applicants' time from overseas. You've got the eligibility, you've got the money, we've got the solution. The Canadians should implement the solution, not the overseas applicants. Anyways, that was my little political stance. Don't mind me rambling on. Samir Nath, have you seen any reduction in some of your current clients in terms of receiving the AOR file number for PR? Is it still more than 10 months? The old files, the non-priority, they're slow, Samir. The new ones with priority, they're super fast. Okay. Strike Fox says, why Canadian government is so incompetent? Good question, Strike Fox. Very good question. I can't answer that. It's just they should, win a prize for the incompetency, to be honest with you. Saurabh Malhotra, any idea of the processing timelines for the new open work permit? Will it be faster? Will the applications be processed post the pipeline of current work permit renewal application, which is about 6 months? Saurabh, it depends on the embassy you process. The open work permit processing time will not change. It's the same thing. It's a regular work permit, no matter if it's closed, open. It will not change. And it depends on the embassy, your nationality, and all other factors. So some places it's fast, like Europe or Central South America. Some places like India, Pakistan can take 2.5 to 4.5 months. Like you said, in Africa or other places, it can even take longer. You can be looking at 4 to 6 months. So it's completely dependent on where you're applying from. And there is no separate processing time for this new open work permit under SUV. El Mashat says, how we can apply to work permit after we get work number? Oh, it's the instructions are on the website. IRCC SUV work permit, AMKH. Could the average processing time of the PR SUV application reach more than 40 months in 2025 for the non-priority route, or shorter processing times could be expected? AMKH, you know what it depends on? It depends on how many applications they receive under priority versus non-priority. Okay, but I don't think it will be 40 months for the non-priority. It's just a guess. Satish Lela. Hi, I'm Satish from Prism Neuronics. Satish, nice to see you. You're giving lots of good information. Thank you. Hey, Satish, good to see you. Thanks for the reminder. I remember that. Prism Neuronics. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let me know when you've got everything lined up. Yeah, keep in touch. Good to see you online. Jimit, what are the new changes coming to the SOWP, Spousal Open Work Permit? I do have a spousal open work and yet to apply for a spousal work permit extension during around March from within Canada. Will new coming changes be applicable for me as well? Yes, new changes will apply. It depends on which program, Jimmy, or is your main applicant who you're dependent on an LMIA work permit under a business immigration program like entrepreneur, ICT, SUV. But all the changes will apply to the main applicants unless in the new regulations it states that renewals are exempt. AMK, just me is the essential. AMKH. Okay. So she can withdraw, or the IRCC government will withdraw. So what you can do is send a request to withdraw for her, or wait for them to withdraw. I remember I told you originally, you do the withdrawal, because if 2 PRs are issued, it'll be a mess at the border. You don't want that. So there's 2 ways to do this, I think, logically, is to initiate it now for your wife who's non-essential to withdraw, and explaining that she's your dependent. The incubator made a mistake. You didn't know, and obviously IRCC didn't figure it out yet. Or wait till the embassy issues the confirmation of PR wants to on your behalf, and then you coordinate with them. But maybe it's better to do it before that stage. But do not confuse the officer. So you got to initiate a withdrawal for your wife as soon as possible. Bakhtavar Rahman. Hi, Reza. Open work permit will be issued before getting PR. My query is that, does it change the amount of time it will take to process the amount of funds required? No, Bakhtavar. The PR processing eligibility remains the same until future changes. The open work permit is just the open work permit. It won't affect the PR application processing time. B4, that's the name of the person. How bad is it that I don't have any intellectual property and my startup isn't making money yet? I applied for permanent residency in March. I'm from Russia. Hi, B4. I like your nickname, by the way, your handle name. I gotta charge my laptop here, folks. Sorry, I didn't come prepared. How bad? It's not good, but it doesn't mean 100% you're going to be refused. I would say come up with a intellectual property strategy, hire a consultant, maybe do a filing, and you're not making money yet. Well, 99.99% of these startups don't make money. So that are already under SUV, that are being approved. So don't worry about that part. The efforts, the progress, the milestones are important. And if they ask you about intellectual property, you can justify it somehow. I don't know what your startup is. If you do have IP, those are things that you have to consider and talk with your consultants. But the general point is usually they ask it, and you have to have a proper response. If you say, I don't have intellectual property, then what is so intellectual or innovative about your startup? So you have to have a justification. It doesn't mean you have to have it, but justification is important. A lot of our clients just file and have like an IP strategy, or patent consultant create a strategy for them, sometimes applying and making a filing, sometimes no. So even doing a consultation where an intellectual property advisor, lawyer, or patent lawyer tells you that maybe it's best you don't file and you keep it within the thing, that could be one strategy. But it depends on each startup. So I cannot advise you in detail on your startup. I don't have all the details. Samir Nath, how do the SUV teams where essentials are waiting for work permits hire staff in Canada, get an office location where the house new staff can sit when they themselves are not in Canada? So Samir, just so you know, the office and the stuff are like the ICT changes we talked about. So intra-company transfer. So startup visa, you can still have virtual offices and stuff. So you don't, like, what I'm saying, like, don't mix up the intra-company transfer changes I announced with the SUV program. It is required for our SUV to start and operate a business in Canada, that startup. But whether you're hiring or have a physical office, that's not 100% mandatory as of today, October 17, 2024. Safa Saleh. Okay, folks, I do need to charge my laptop somehow. Hold on. Yeah, this is embarrassing. I hope I'm not going to get cut off. Hold on. Okay, let's answer one more question. Safa, we're currently waiting for the RCC decision on our SUV case after 2.5 months since receiving pre-arrival service. Do you have any estimated time frame? No estimated time frame, Safa. You know as much as we do. It's crazy out there. I have cases waiting for 8 months now, 9 months, 10 months. Samir Nath, how does RCC verify the truth of the origin story of how the founders met? They don't. It's just common sense, right? Like, it's just common sense. I mean, there's no verification. They don't send you private investigators to your home or community to find out. Doesn't. How do they verify your startup is real? Well, they just look at the supporting documents you provide. Is it genuine? Does it make sense? Prashant Dagar, fastest way to get GC in Canada. By the way, been trying to figure out how to book a call with you. Prashant, if you go into our e-store, so if you go into a store and you book through our store a consultation, that's the easiest way and the fastest way. Fastest way to get a GC. What do you mean by GC? Looking for an investment route. Yeah, I mean, for Canada permanent residency, that's, you only have one or two basic options, maybe three, depending on your profile. But if you're just looking for investment, that's different if you're not combining it with immigration. But, reach out. Happy to help. Fatoyinbo Aderonke Esther. Hi. Hello. How are you? Samir Nath, have you seen any SUV teams pivot their business model a bit and add or delete new business side while they're waiting? Yes, I have. It has to make sense. It's got to be logical, updated in the business plan, and justified, and has to be just common sense, right? You can't go from like developing a mobile app to doing greenhouses, perhaps, right? It's got to be a little bit of a very smooth, like, not a significant change overall, like just adjustments, pivoting, like you said. Fatiombu Aderonkester, is it possible to have multiple SUV applications and express entry applications at the same time? Express entry profile, yes. Applications for PR, no. You can only do one. Government will withdraw one for you, and they pick which one. Obviously, the one that's being processed faster. And then if you're an essential member in your SUV, the express entry PR, if it triggers, not the profile is not PR, can trigger refusal for the rest of your group if you're an essential. Vijay Kormor, I'm an CEC with 506 points. Work permit expire in June next year. Any chance? Yeah, Vijay, it's not bad. Your chances are pretty good. I would say 80%. CEC means Canadian Experience Class, folks. Ugona Ebi, hi Reza, long time. Hello, Ugona. I'm sorry, I don't remember much about our previous discussions, but good to see you online. Thank you for joining us. Samir Nath, have you seen higher rejections for spousal open work permit applicant for SUV essential maybe working in Canada where spouse is still overseas? No, not necessarily, but it depends on the nationality and the profile of the application. I think that's more to do with it. But generally, they are refusing more work permits on a general macro level in Canada, not just specifically SOWPs. Hillary Decor, hi Reza, hi Hillary. Jimit, for my spousal open work permit, I will be applying after my wife's PGWP application. Can I apply SOWP except based on my wife's applied status of PGWP? Jimit, I'm sorry, but I don't do education or work permits. I am truly sorry. We used to long time ago, but we're only right now doing business and investment migration. Folks, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I know it's a live, but I'm running out of a battery. Hold on 1 second. Yes, that's exactly what not to do in a live stream, is run out of a battery and get up and leave the screen. That's like the live stream 101 for dummies. This is the first rule of thumb. Don't do what I just did. Okay. Ugo Naibi, I'm finally here in Canada. My wife got an LMI. I'm an open work permit. Okay. Nice. Good for you. Great. This is good news. You're in. That's a huge leap, right? Huge milestone. Max Phillip, do you think they will process all applications in background within 2025? Probably not. Ugona IB. So what's our best option to getting PR? Ugona, it depends on your profile. I don't have all your details, so I can't really comment. You can always book a consultation because it really depends on what's happening with you and your spouse and which province you're in, what program you're under, are you eligible for other programs. Max Phillips speaks Russian. Nice, nice. With B4, I gotta brush up on my Russian a little bit. Ugona Ebi, ECEA and maintenance technician. ECEA would be your best bet. Maintenance technician, if you're in Ontario, check if in the in-demand skills worker occupations it's listed and your employer is eligible. That could be one route. But the early childhood educators is a great program depending on the province you're in. I would say that could be your thing. Apex Prime. So for the intra-company transfer in Canada, there's no workaround if the Canadian branch has gone fully remote. Even the mother company and home country branch are fully remote. No, in Canada, physical office location. Samir Nath, have you seen SUV teams, sort of visa teams, get PR even if they didn't hire any staff and never had any office location in Canada? Is that commonly seen? Previously, yes. Going forward, we don't know what changes they could make, but up to now, nobody really had a physical office. A lot of people didn't even have a virtual office. They had a registered office or registered address for their corporation mail, and most people didn't hire. But hiring is very important, and it makes a significant change. The startups, here's a little trick. The startups that have hired, 99% have been approved, from my experience. Kunle or the BAU, how much is the PR via SUV? It depends, Kunle. Like, are you joining a startup group? Do you have your own startup? Which designated organization are you going for? If you've got less than, a certain amount of money, I don't think you could qualify. Send us an email, Kunle. Send us an email and we can always check eligibility. Safa Saleh, one of our founders did the medical test 1 month ago and there's no update on the RCC Pro. Any suggestions? No, unfortunately, Safa. You're in the black box of the SUV. Not much you can do. Jimmy says, no problem. Thanks for the professional respect. Thanks, Jimmy. I do apologize. We're not doing education anymore because our pure focus is now investment and business migration. That is our expertise. That is my specialty. We do have an education team. They could probably answer your question, but I cannot. I do apologize. Safa Saleh, thanks for your support. Thanks, Safa, for joining and connecting with us regularly on our YouTube Live. We appreciate everyone's time, feedback, input, and Fatoyimbu Aderonke Esther. Thanks for the feedback. What if my husband applies for the startup visa and I apply as the primary applicant for the Express Center? Is this possible? So I'll just explain Fatoyimbu. But you can have an Express Center profile. Either one of you, both of you, it will not actually trigger a PR unless you're invited, you apply for PR. If you do, make sure your husband is a non-essential member so he can withdraw, because you cannot have 2 PRs at the same time. So you got to design it. How many points do you have? Is it likely that you'll be invited under Express Entry? If yes, design it. If not, and if you've got, 460 points, you're in Express Entry and you don't speak French, I wouldn't hold my breath. Stick to the SUV route. But yes, you can have an active Express Entry profile while you do any other program. The main applicant, the spouse, it doesn't matter. But 2 PR applications at the same time is different than having an Express Entry profile. Talk to the agent or consultant who's doing your case. Samir Nath, how does the RCC verify the validity of the client list declared typically by SUV teams in their progress reports? They don't. Samir, you're asking all the right questions. So it's not like they'll email them. The point is they want to see. If you have customers, well, if I was an officer, okay, I'm going to reduce my IQ by 1/4, bring out my belly, and now I'm in a government IRCC officer. Maybe I'll also change my glasses in the background, okay? I'm playing an IRCC government officer role. I see a list of customers that this startup has. It's a SaaS. It's a marketplace. Ooh, big deal, right? And then you're like, they have customers. Okay. Is the app working? Is the website working? Like, I can actually use it. Is this app real? So I can check that. The next thing is, and if it's not a hardware, if it's a hardware, it's completely different. They can pick on you more on that. The next question is, okay, you have customers. Are they paying? And if they're paying, where's your bank account? Where's your tax filings? Where's the revenue going, right? Or do you have like 10 early on stage onboarding customers who are like pilot projects. Okay. Do you have usage data? Do you have testimonials? Do you have an agreement with, maybe it's B2B? See, this is just, maybe my IQ came up in those questions, but if I dropped my IQ and became a government officer, those are just logical things. They don't have an investigative team like, like a documentary investigative or journalist going after to see if your clients are real, right? So, yeah, don't tell them I told you all this. Fraz Shafiq, I am in Canada under a closed SUV work permit expiring May 20th, 2025. If I want to bring my family to Canada, do I first need to reapply under the new open work permit process for myself and family? No, you just apply. You show yourself established. You meet the eligibility. You don't need an open work permit. You can apply for a SOWP. And then you could, Fraz is continue with this question. Can I apply to change to OWP when my closed work only 4 months old? So when you're renewing, you can do that. Not when you're not changing it right now, but when you're renewing. And it doesn't matter if you're applying under open or closed for your family members. It's all the same. Saurabh Malhotra, what happened when the work permit renewal is taking longer than the date on the implied work permit letter? Can we get a new implied work permit letter issued while we're still waiting for it? It's still valid. You don't need a new letter. It's still valid. If you look at the regulations, it says even if that date expires, you're still under implied. If you leave the country, then that's not valid anymore. Okay. So thanks, Saurabh, for the question. And the prize, the award for the best questions today goes to Saurabh. Thank you. It was a very tricky, interesting questions. And of course, everyone's commitment and contribution was appreciated. And AMKH had some good questions as well. Everyone had good questions, but Saurabh definitely had the most intriguing ones today. Vijay Kumar, how to make strong ICT work permit extension application. Significant benefit to Canada, like hiring, having a physical office, filing for taxes, having revenue, headquarters, operating. We are still checking with RCC if existing intra-company transfer renewals inside Canada should also meet multinational corporation requirements. So we're waiting for feedback on that. Ugona Ebi, thanks for that. I've been following you since 2021 from Nigeria. Nice, Ugona. Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you for following us. Hopefully we are entertaining for you. Hopefully we don't bore you all the time. So I appreciate you. Saurabh, yes, you do receive the award. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Here it is. I don't have an award yet, but I would have given to Samir Nath. Thank you. You're so informative and insightful. No problem, Samir Nath. Samir, what did you ask? Have you seen they get PR? Okay. And Max Phillip, thanks for joining. B4, thanks for joining from Russia or maybe Turkey or Dubai. I don't know where you are. Maybe you're in Canada. I don't know. But Safa Salah, you're at the top of the list every time. Thanks, Bakhtavar, for joining. Jimit, sorry I couldn't answer your questions. El Mashad, AMKH, Haitam, of course. Our good friend Haitam and his startup group. And of course, who else did we have in today? Rosita, Ash1, and everyone else, Fraz. And of course, thank you, Ugona, for following us for so long. I really appreciate it. And that's what keeps us alive. It's the audience members like you. And of course, thanks to the people in the shadows, people in the background, the shadows that never come and comment or question or say anything, but they're always watching, the people in the shadows. Thank you to you as well for keeping our YouTube channel alive. Next week, we'll talk about Caribbean island citizenship, but this is part 2 of our series. So you watched the previous one, which we posted weeks ago. This is those questions that nobody has the answer to, or they won't tell you to ask when you're deciding on those Caribbean citizenship programs. Those are those little key differences that nobody talks about and nobody advertises, which they should though. Arun Kumar, I don't have a business or management experience. Can I still get PR through investment or startup visa? You don't need to have business ownership. And you said you have no management. So it depends. Sometimes a startup visa, you can have technical expertise, right? Or if you were graduated in the last 10 years and you've got an innovative concept, you could potentially be eligible for the International Entrepreneur Graduate Stream in Alberta, which is like a mini provincial startup visa. It does not require management experience because you're working with an incubator, so you could be exempt. So it depends on your profile. If you're an accountant, depends on your position again. So I can't say yes 100% Arun to you, and I can't say no 100%. Depends on your profile. If you want a quick eligibility, send an email to info@ingwe.ca, ingwe.ca, which is our email, and tell them you talk to me. They will do some questionnaire, and then we can check your eligibility. The key is, what are you doing? What is your profession? What's your role? The whole picture, as they say, a holistic approach to eligibility. Saminath, are Dubai work permit timelines getting any better? No, not from what I'm seeing. They're pretty much the same all around. Okay, folks, thanks so much for joining us. We are back next Thursday with a great lineup. Part 2 of our investigative citizenship investment program for those islands that people are buying. And of course, even our clients are buying. We're helping them. But we're not just going to do the mundane, boring stuff. We're going to dive deep into those little cracks that nobody picks. Yeah, don't tell anyone I told you that. Okay, startup visa applicants, good luck to you. Godspeed. ICT applicants, I feel sorry for everyone. And for anyone else who's not applying for Canada, good for you. You made a wise choice. And we can help you with Europe, North America, South and Central America, whether you want to live in that country, just get a passport, or move eventually, or eventually get a passport. Doesn't matter where you want to go, what you want to do. We've got a solution for everyone, no matter what nationality you are. Okay. And probably within a certain budget, we have a good diversified portfolio. Okay, folks, I talk too much and I know it. Thanks again. Thumbs up if you can on this YouTube channel, and appreciate everyone joining us. We'll see you next week. And like I always say, apply with a plan. Don't just apply for the sake of applying. Apply, do your research, do a reverse engineering of the route you want to take and the ultimate goal you want to do. And you can always book a consultation one-on-one with me if you're looking at immigrating, moving your family, applying for citizenship, passports to any of the key countries. And if I'm not offering it, it means I don't believe in that program. Now, I'm not going to name those names, but if I don't have it in my portfolio, I don't want to offer it because I would not apply for that program. That's how I do. That's my motto. Okay, if you don't like that, I'm sorry. I'm not going to sell you something that I wouldn't buy. It's just the way we are. Thanks again. Take care, folks. All the best. And Arun Kumar's last question, is there a minimum investment for Alberta graduate stream? It's minimum 50,000 if you want to go rural, or minimum Canadian 100,000. That's the bare minimum. Then you got to consider incubator costs and other costs as well. When an AMKH, I'm going in there asking questions, but that's okay. That's what I'm here for. AMKH, when an applicant sends a web form, will the visa officer be notified immediately? For the visa officer will know when regular opening the application. Okay, MKH. If you have a PR file number, yes. If you don't, there's no way to send a web form for your PR application. Okay? Hope I've answered that. Okay, and sometimes they have a link in your portal directly to the officer, so you don't need to use a web portal, but that's only if you already have a permanent file number. Thanks, folks. Gotta go. The bus is leaving. Gotta catch it. Take care, folks. Have a good one. Next Thursday. Subscribe to know when we're online, because this is funny stuff, right? Talking about the Canadian government and how incompetent they are. I love it. See you, folks. Bye-bye.